I'm Yuri.
I'm Jakub.
And we're going for a drive. ...2019 Mazda MX-5.
Now with more horsepower. Yes!
Obligatory Mazda Matsuda.
Mazda, Matsuda.
There we go.
Okay.
So what's special about 2019 besides more horsepower?
Well, that's pretty much the biggest thing. There's a lot of little things though.
Before we get into the little things, horsepower and torque.
181 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque.
How much more is that in each?
Roughly about 25, 26, 27, and then like 3 torques.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take whatever horsepower a Miata can get.
But the biggest deal is the damn red line.
7,500 RPM.
Which is up from the previous year, and that is the best part of this whole car to me.
What was the 2018 at?
About 6,800.
If you're comparing it to a 2018 Miata, you just get a lot more go before you need a shift, which adds up over time.
Well, it's a good thing we have a 2018 Miata with us here today.
To show you what really matters.
That's right, here's some comparisons.
Can you tell the difference between which one is the 2018 and the 2019 Miata in this video?
Is it the one on the left or the right?
The 2019 is the one on the right.
Why is that?
Because you can see the reverse camera in the bumper ever so slightly.
That's right, we finally have a reverse camera in the Miata.
It's not a good quality reverse camera, but...
Is it better to have a bad quality reverse camera or no reverse camera?
Probably a bad quality reverse camera.
Exactly.
Like, it's accurate, but it's pixely.
It's pixely and it's distorted, but whatever, there's a backup camera and it's amazing just to have it.
Because it is legally mandatory by law, 2019 in Canada.
That's right.
Good job Mazda.
Yeah, good job complying.
Good job Mazda for holding out till the end.
Yeah, good job.
The next new feature is the telescopic steering wheel for the first time ever.
That is my favorite feature aside from the high RPM red line.
I want you to get into it more when you're driving because seating position is so important in a small car for a big dude.
I will.
What's next?
The doors.
What about the doors, Jacob?
It is a very weird change, but a very good change. The 2018 had 3 positions of door opening. So when you open the door, it kind of locks itself in 3 positions. The 2019 now has 2 positions, so it's easier to get in and out in tight spaces.
I like that someone figured that out and put it into practice.
It's such a small thing, but it makes all the difference.
Hey, I'm going to cliche corner send a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
My favorite send. You know what I say about people with Miatas, right?
They are the happiest people on earth.
They are the smartest people on earth, and I am so dumb for not having my own Miata yet.
I still need to drive one with a V8.
Yeah, let's do that.
A flying Miata.
Oh, this is so nice. Doing the speed limit, having a great time.
Not getting tickets, what a great day.
And it looks cool too.
It looks exactly the same as the 2018. Exactly.
Okay, let's talk about this paint color.
This is Mazda's famous red, which we love so much.
We had it on the RF Miata that we reviewed.
And also the Mazda 6 Signature.
But our first Miata didn't have this red.
That's right, it was slightly different.
I like this red, but I'm kind of sick of it because on crazy days with clouds, it's not always bright and poppy. You know what I want?
What's that?
I want that old NA yellow back.
Yeah, okay, I figured you'd say yellow.
Yeah, I want this wrapped in that. Remember the RX-7 we drove?
Yes, that
Same
was...
thing?
Yeah.
Perfect.
All
I
right.
need that back.
That would be very interesting to see. So if you guys have done that to your personal one, let us know. Send us some pictures. Another change that they made for this year.
Rewinding satellite radios.
No. Redesigned cup holders.
Okay, they're not really redesigned the way they hold the cup, just the way they click in and out.
And it's actually easier to put it in and out this year.
Very slightly, but like super attention to detail.
That's right. If you didn't have the 2019 and you looked at the 2018, you wouldn't notice. Does it pass the small cup holder test, Yuri?
It does, but even if it didn't, I wouldn't care because Miata is the best.
Just like the infotainment, which has not changed.
Wasn't 2019 supposed to get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto?
You will be able to get it on the new Miata and a lot of other older Miatas and other Mazdas as well, but you'll probably have to pay for it. Maybe it'll be free, but this one doesn't have it.
Yeah, the first one that's going to get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay is the 2019 CX-9, I believe.
Yes, you're right.
I'm very excited to see how that goes.
So am I.
You know what else hasn't changed?
What's that?
The visors. 3, 2, 1, fail.
Nothing. Complete fail.
Doesn't matter?
No, that's a Miata pass. Oh, one thing that hasn't changed, but we screwed up in our 2018 video.
The trunk.
The trunk.
Okay.
The trunk opens with a button. You guys pointed that out. I think that was probably 50% of the comments on our video. There's a button to open it.
Yeah, it's super hidden, which is good because I guess people aren't going to try to mess with your car or whatever.
And that button still exists on the 2019.
The RF did pass the box test, so I assume this is going to pass the box test as well.
It will.
We're not going to test it.
No, everything's the same.
But we assume. Well, I guess I'll just let you drive and talk about the power that's changed and the handling that hasn't.
I would love to.
Here we go. Yo, hit me with that red line.
7,500 RPM right away. Bam, there it is.
That little bit helps a lot.
And what else has changed for this year? Apparently, the muffler is different.
Here's a comparison. I didn't notice a difference.
I didn't either, to be honest, but it's different. However, I believe that was part of what helped to get more power as well.
Oh, maybe more airflow, but the same sound?
Exactly.
So let's talk about the engine.
The engine is completely different. So if you were to walk into your dealership as a 2018 owner, being upset that the 2019 got more horsepower but still has the same 2-liter 4-cylinder, it does not have the same 2-liter 4-cylinder.
The only thing that's the same is pretty much just the block.
That's right. So all the internals have been changed. So you can't just tune it and get more horsepower, at least not from Mazda.
And we did a little comparison of 0 to 100 for you guys from each one, just to see the difference, shift points and red lines.
Apparently they also changed something so that there's more direct initial response to the gas pedal input. I also didn't notice that. Judging by your face, you didn't either.
So we've been driving the 2018 and the 2019 back-to-back, switching it up through these roads. That's how we know there's a difference, but there's not too much.
Exactly. So if you are a 2018 or previous owner, you will not notice that many differences, but there are very subtle ones. The biggest one being the red line.
I thought you were going to say that the biggest difference is the seating position.
Well, that's the third biggest. There's a lot of big differences that are small. Yeah, exactly.
If you're tall, go 2019. How much more comfortable are you here?
So much more comfortable. This is the most comfortable Miata I've ever sat in.
I think the biggest difference is because you can telescope the steering wheel, you can sit further back, and your knees aren't going to hit the dashboard.
Yeah, it just gives you a way better position because you can't move your seat any farther back, but your arms are in a better position.
It's very comfortable.
And what else is comfortable? These Recaro seats.
Yeah, I don't think we've driven the ones with the Recaro seats before.
Because this has a sport package.
And you get the speakers in the headrests. I was playing around with the settings. You can crank it up or less, and it's really good.
We are driving the GS with the sport package, so we also have the beautiful BBS wheels and the Brembos up front and the red brake calipers in the back.
So it looks very race car.
This is the perfect spec. It just is.
You know what though? I did like the tan interior in the other one we drove.
Okay, in terms of like interior colors, yes. I just mean overall packaging.
Sure.
And we have a limited slip differential because why not? You need one.
And handling's the same, but let's go through Cliche Corner anyways.
Why not? It's still the same old playful Miata, if not a little bit more playful.
I think it is a little more playful.
Because that extra power, like it just helps a little bit.
You can let the back get loose a little bit easier, I think. It feels like that anyways to me. And you know what the best part is? With traction control on, I think it has the perfect amount of like power slidability.
It does. It still oversteers when you want it to, and then it just reels you back in very gently.
I took a left turn and it let out, and I stayed on it, and then it let out again.
There you go.
Like I've never had any other car do that. They're like bogged down or something. This was perfect amount of fun with traction on.
I do agree. It's still the same old Miata in terms of handling. The chassis is exactly the same as the previous ones.
But now I got the next question for you.
All right, hit me.
The 2019 Mazda Miata with more horsepower, or the 2004 Mazda Speed Miata that we drove earlier?
I think I have to go with this one, the 2019. I really liked that Mazda Speed Miata, but I just didn't fit in it. So if I were to send it every day, I would be suffering a little bit.
To be brutally honest, I loved that 2004 Mazda Speed Miata. I love that it was turbo. I love that it had turbo lag that was predictable.
I loved it too, man.
I think I like classic looks more, but the comforts in this one is so much nicer, like having keyless entry and all that stuff. Like the top going up and down is easier. We didn't mention this in the Mazda Speed Miata review, which probably isn't out yet. Well, it's guaranteed not out yet.
No.
It'll come out soon.
It will.
This top, when you put it up and down, it's so easy, one hand. The other one, every time you pulled it back, it felt like you were dislocating your arm.
Painful. This is amazing.
And then this one, the air is so nice and cold.
Yeah,
compared to other convertibles. Like the air always hits you perfectly. Some of the other bigger convertibles, like the luxury ones, the air's got to travel so far from this gigantic dashboard that you might not get cool air.
This is true. The vents are right in front of you. I did say that the Mazda Speed Miata was my favorite Miata, but this is my favorite because I fit in it, so I can actually drive it properly.
That's fair. So let's get to the price.
We don't actually know. It hasn't been released yet. That's how new this is.
So I personally assume it's going to be the same.
I think it's going to be probably very similar within maybe $500.
Are they making a 2019 Miata with less power?
No.
So it's probably going to be exactly the same.
Not for North America. There's different engines in other markets. There's a smaller engine.
What?
Yeah, there's a 1.5 liter.
Where?
All over the world that isn't North America, kind of.
But Americans need more power.
Well, obviously.
Good.
And Canadians.
Yo, good on you, Mazda, Canada, and
Yes.
US.
The transmission is exactly the same as it was before, still the best.
I think I like the Mazda Speed Miata transmission more.
Really?
There's something in my head about that felt perfect, and I felt so wicked.
The gear ratio is the same as on the 2018 in this one, and I prefer this. That one you were always shifting. This one you're always shifting slightly less than the Mazda Speed.
Yeah, you're right. I like that.
Always shifting.
I like that more.
You always had to be in the power band because when you were out of turbo, there was no power.
Yeah, no, I definitely like driving the Mazda Speed Miata more. I'm gonna stand by that, but I like the luxuries of this more.
This is so linear all the way up to 7,500 RPM.
So with everything pretty much being covered, why should you get a 2019 Miata over a 2018 Miata?
If you're a tall person that's always wanted a Miata and you've been kind of suffering in a 2018 or previous, or even any previous generation to that, this is the most comfortable one for a tall person at 6'1.5".
I personally had no problems with the 2018 Miata, so if you're like 5'8.5" or something like that, if you need to get a 2018 instead of 2019, no big deal.
The driving position is that much better in this that if you have a 2018 and you're a tall person, get the 19. If you're not a tall person, I think you can probably skip it if you already have an ND.
And if you want a little bit more speed, get the 2019, but if you don't get the 2019, it's not that much of a difference.
Exactly.
And on that note, it's time for the top-up subscription break.
Here we go.
You can only subscribe while the top is going up. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, patreon.com/TheStraightPipes, and the YouTube sponsor button. Ready and go.
And that's it. That's all the time you have.
You didn't subscribe, you can't subscribe.
Next video.
Send it. I'm Yuri.
I'm Jacob.
And we're going for a drive. This is a subscription break. Don't forget to subscribe.
Subscribe right now. Subscribe. We didn't do that.